You can start, I think, because phone.
No, we can start.
ఎందుకు రూట్ లేడు రిమోట్ ఆన్ ఆన్ ఫోటోలు ఇక్కడ ईमेल एड्रेस क्या है?
Do you have a PPT?
Today night is Sunday. Not having it, I haven't been by work.
Let's start. What is it? Shall we start? Shall we start? I invite the three panelists to please step over on the dais and then we can start the event. I think after lunch, the participation rate has gone down. I was speaking, telling Gautam about that, and Gautam reminded me of a very old movie. Many of you might have not seen it. There was a movie called Sharabi by Amitabh Bachchan, where he's alone sitting in an audience in a big hall, and a very nice song is and dance sequence happens there. But Jayprada is actually dancing, and situation is very much like that. So, with remembering that song, Mujhe nau lakha dila de re o sayya diwane. We'll start today's afternoon session.
May I invite the panelists on the dais? Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back. Thank you for joining the afternoon session as well. So moving ahead, the fifth session for today is being held by Dr. Gautam Bhattacharya on the very useful topic of changes law firms would like to see in IP lawyers leaving campus. Dr. Gautam is a patent attorney and chair of patent practice at K&S Partners. He represents several multinational and domestic corporations on a variety of IP issues and works very closely with several startups and spin-offs. He is a regular speaker at various conferences and seminars and has several articles to his credit, published in reputed national and international scientific journals such as Natural Biotechnology, Water Research, Separation Science and Technology, and so on. Gautam sir is also a member of the India-US Working Group at IPR at the Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Gautam sir also serves as a member of several institutional committees of national institutes, including National Institute of Pathology and National Institute of Immunology. Dr. Gautam, over to you.
Thank you and good afternoon. The most difficult task Aninda has given me just after the lunch. So it's a great honor for me to be here amongst you. It's India's one of the premier institution, and it's indeed an honor to me. So the topic is what changes. Rather, I would like to deviate from the topic slightly. What I would like to share is what we look at the resources before we take someone on board. So when we take someone on board, our principle is simple. Today's associate is tomorrow's partner. So what we look at, yes, we don't expect all the attributes of a leader will not be there in a new recruit, but certainly some of the elements of those attributes should be there, so that we can inculcate, we inculcate the values, we can nurture those attributes and make them a better leader than us. So the essential elements, what we call is the three elements: mindset, skill set, and tool sets. So we have a recruitment process, robust process, which has several layers of induction, so at least 5 layers. And whatever I'll be sharing with you today will give you a kind of kind of glimpses of what we do at KNS. So when we look at a mindset. What is mindset? Mindset is a set of belief that influences how you react to certain situation. So it could be generally mindset can be of two mindset. One is the static mindset, another the growth mindset. Simple thing what we look at, and I think as budding lawyer, you should also remember the growth mindset is something uh, which sees opportunities. It's that you can think that I have limited ability, I can't do. And the growth mindset says, okay, if I can challenge myself, I'll be smarter. That is the growth mindset. So we try to find growth mindset in people. And then the skill set, how you act, ability to use your knowledge, your communication skills, your analytical skills, your problem solving approach, problem solving skills. There are several skills, I'll come to that after this, and tool sets that what you use. So skill sets are your skill, your ability to use your knowledge, and you need to rely on certain tools, which, for example, your research database. How efficiently use your research database? So, database is a tool. Document management system is a tool. ERP, enterprise resource planning, which defines your processes. So that is a tool. Now, look at the entire ecosystem of a lawyer. So, in the ecosystem, there are three players, not beyond. There cannot be more than three. One is client, one is the practice, and third one is the people with whom you will be working, and of course you. I'm excluding. So you have to interact with these three ecosystem, and how efficiently, how skillfully, and how with positive attitude you interact, that makes you a wonderful resource. So before I proceed, what I'll do is I'll give you what do we expect from from an associate, a person who is joining just after the school. School means law school. So I have jotted some of the responsibilities under three heads of that ecosystem: client, people, and processes. So, what for client? What we look at? So there are different kind of psychometric tests that we conduct, and which gives us the the nature or the different mindset, skill set that you are possessing. So what we look at the proactive nature and mindful of the client interest. What does it mean? So it means that client first, you believe in that client interest is utmost important. As an associate, you are the executor, you are the grinder. In business term, we call it uh, grinder, minder, and finder. Finder is who brings the business. Uh, Binder who actually nurture the relationship, and grinder who does the work, the execute the work. So when you start your career, so it is expected that you will be useful in deliverables, quality and timely delivery, uh, extend crucial support to the team. That is very important. Legal profession is not an individual profession, especially in the context of the law firm. It is a team game, and help building client relationship. You don't interact with the client directly to start with, but certainly by your action, by your proactiveness, by your good work, quality work, you help the organization to grow and strengthen the relationship. Then next ecosystem player is the practice management. So of course, when you join a law firm expect tech domain expertise. If your domain is a technical, if it is domain your legal, then that's the utmost important thing for a law firm. Creative and open to ideas, that is important. You have to challenge the status quo. You have to think how you can bring process efficiencies. As a in a law firm where you have hundreds and hundreds of processes, and what we expect people to be innovative and create and challenge the status quo and create new ways to do work. So these are the most important attributes. It may not be you need to nurture, you need to inculcate, but what we see, whether you have the glimpses of these attributes. And most important is the learning from your feedback. You are not born perfectionist, or you learn while doing your work. So it without saying, when in a team game, you have to create an atmosphere, a conducive atmosphere. So that also, again, in whatever test psychometric test we do, and it gives you 100%, almost very close to 100% accuracy, that your nature, whether you are a team player or not. There will be hundreds questions, almost 100 questions. One simple thing will be asked in a different form, and the algorithm is such, it will take out your true mindset. Maintain excellent interpersonal relationship with the team member. And also what we see, the new a, a person who has been with the firm for 3 to 4 years, they become the buddy of the new joinee. So they act as an interface between the new joinee and the senior colleagues. So knowing that these are the responsibilities we expect, or you need to actually play the, and then you need to map what I should do, what kind of attribute or what kind of skill I should develop, so that I can play these responsibilities. So important skills law firm always look for. So first is the analytical skill. It's one of the most important skill that we look for. It's navigate the complexities of law, uh, and also help you to develop the strategies. Is analytical skill. Without analytical skill, it is not a simple reading. There is a set of information, data, but how you can make it as an information, that is that analytical skill help you to convert the data into information. Communication skill, without saying that communication skill is important, because uh, that is how you interact with all the three ecosystem players, be uh, be it your client relationship, be it your courtroom advocacy, be it your negotiation skill. During negotiation, it is the communication skill that help you to really helps you. Research skill, attention to details. This is very important, and in fact, a good resource and the difference, the distinguishing factor between a good resource and a bad resource is the attention to detail, because we can't afford to do mistakes, especially when you are writing a document, a legal document. So then you have a time management. What is the inventory for a lawyer? Any idea what's the inventory for a lawyer? You know, in a company, your inventory is raw material. For us, what is the inventory? Yes, it is the time. So how efficiently we manage the time is key to our success. Our inventory is our time. So you will see in globally, the people bill based on their time spent. Though in India we don't bill based on our time spent, we have a fixed schedule. But overseas it is all about time spent. Uh, Another part of the time management is how you prioritize your work. That is also important, and you have to learn these qualities. Now what I'm saying, that these are the qualities you need to nurture, that changes that what changes a law firm would look like, would always look in a law student, is then at times you need to handle multiple cases, multitasking. Lot of you are doing some research, your colleague said, your senior colleague said, okay, can you please help me to find out this particular case study, case law. So there will be a lot of things at a given time will be given to you. So it is again the multitasking, and that for that you need to prioritize, and to prioritize you have to have a very robust time management mechanism embedded in you. Uh, then we have problem solving skills. Problem solving is again something what I call it challenging the status quo. There are way to respond. I'll give an example, that hypothetical example, just to, I thought, what is the problem solving approach? I'm giving in the context of a patent application where you have developed a fire extinguisher. So, what is fire extinguisher? Is all about your fire extinguisher. It is chlorinated fire extinguisher. Then the examiner says, chlorinated. Here is a prior art which gives you brominated fire extinguisher. So it is not inventive. So what do you say? Examiner says chlorine and bromine fall under the same group, so therefore it would have the same property, and hence it is not inventive. So solvent approach is not to accept the examiner view. Find out what are the other possibilities. How can I bypass? What is the way? How can I challenge? The problem solvent, then you come out with a theory that your brominated brominated fire extinguisher acts only on normal fire, but my chlorinated one can be used in electrical short circuit. So that is something different. So I'm just giving you an example. What is problem solving? How you look at a problem? How do you solve? You need to continuously probe your client. Find out. Give us more detail. We need to find out the ways to overcome the situation. Interpersonal skill is again in a group of people. When it is a team work, then you have to have a fantastic interpersonal relationship. Interpersonal relationship also, we actually give a lot of emphasis on interpersonal relationship in a law firm. Unless you can create the conducive environment, unless do have excellent interpersonal relationship, difficult to maintain client relationship. It's because it is, again, it is the interaction, coordination between three ecosystem player: client, people. I'm leaving it the processes as of now in terms of interpersonal relationship. Emotional intelligence, very, very important. That, in fact, we give while selecting candidate, lot of emphasis, lot of weightage is given to emotional intelligence. And there are hundreds and hundreds of tools to assess the emotional intelligence, EQ. Uh, why emotional intelligence is important? How you act, how you manage your emotion in a under high pressure, difficult situation. And law is all about difficult situation. When you argue a case, you do not know how things will shape up. In office, you do not know what are the circumstances that would go against you. So therefore, emotional intelligence is very important. Ethics, without saying, and in fact, in our organization, in our values, integrity is one of the core value at KNS. So we also look for people who are very, very, who has very high level of integrity and a high level of value system. And as a lawyer, as the profession, you have to be very ethical. What is integrity? Integrity, what we do, uh, we are honest, and what we do, what we say, what we do, and we are accountable for what we do, accountable to what we do. So honesty, and at times you commit mistake, but being ethical, you have to tell your client that something has happened. So okay, I take responsibility. Now this is my plan of action to deal with the situation. But hiding under the carpet is not the right thing. It is not the integrity or ethical practice. So when I was talking, a 2 point I I left. One is the confidence. I'll a lawyer, of course, because this was prepared today morning only, and under uh, I had time constraints, so somehow I missed that one of the most important point, that is the confidence. So you have to be extremely confident. Why client come to you? You know why they come to you? Because they know they have committed a crime and they need a bail. And law generally will not allow to get a bail, but they are coming to you with some anticipation, with some expectation. You need to find out. You have to be confident. If you पहले से ही आप बोलोगे मैं छोड़ दिया सब कुछ, it is difficult, then you're gone. I know one of our former colleague used to say, whenever we used to, any client, any invention, it is patentable. Without, unless it is a direct non-patentable subject matter, he used to say it is patentable. Aap le aao na, we'll do it. Don't worry, we'll do it. There has to be confidence. I'll give you an example. It was narrated by Harsh Bhogle. What's his name? Harsh Bhogla. Harsha Bhogle. So I was listening to one of his interviews. He used to be a player from Hyderabad. So he was narrating a true incident, a match between Maharashtra and the erstwhile Andhra Pradesh. Uh, then I forgot the name of the captain that point of time. He said, when I asked the captain, what is your strategy? That time Harsha was not playing actually. He entered the dressing room. He asked the captain, what will be your strategy? The captain said, क्या करेंगे, ये तो महाराष्ट्र है, यहाँ पे तेंदुलकर है, यहाँ पे मंजरेकर है, कमली है, क्या खेलेंगे बाबा इसमें? And Harsha later on said, and when in a hindsight, I realized that they lost the game on that day. And when during actual game, Maharashtra scored 743. And Arshad Ayub was bowling, he mentioned, and somebody hit a square cut, and the guy who was fielding there, he didn't make any effort to stop the ball. And Arshad Ayub, being very aggressive, and he was a fighter, as Harsha mentioned. Then he said, अरे बॉल को छोड़ दिया क्यों? बोला 700 रन हो गया, आज 4 रन हो जाए तो क्या होगा? So that's what happens when leader, when if you show same kind of or similar kind of lack of confidence, it gets percolated to your team, and you cannot afford to have lack of confidence. So similar situation he mentioned again. It was 2006, 12th March. Australia was playing against South Africa. South Africa was captained by Gibbs, Russell Gibbs. Unbelievable. In 50 overs, Australia scored 434. And when Gibbs entered the dressing room, he saw it's all silence. He simply broke the silence and said, I saw the pitch. They should have scored 500. I do not know why they missed. And immediately the atmosphere changed. And you know how much run South Africa scored? 438, and still one ball to spare. So at times, your confidence is the key. If you can change the entire game. So these two I missed out here. So then I thought, oh, one more thing I missed out. That is, you also always try to look, be futuristic, look through the lens of future. Because as a leader, as I said, today's associate is tomorrow's partner. Our partners are the leader of the firm. So as a leader, you need to be visionary. You need to see how the practice is shaping up. If you do not disrupt your practice, somebody else will disrupt you. Uber disrupted all the big, all those cab services. Oyo, Airbnb disrupted. So there will be disruption. There will be always a disruption. As a visionary, unless you see through the lens of future, you can't disrupt. You have to disrupt. You have to challenge. These are the two things I missed here. Then I thought technology skill. Let me apply some technology skill. I relied on ChatGPT and said, ChatGPT, please tell me what final year law student should focus. So ChatGPT said this. Literally, I was shocked. And practically, and these are not my sentence. I have just reduced the size because it was too big, too lengthy. Then I realized it has immense opportunity in ChatGPT kind of AI, which can, and then it actually made me more curious. I started drafting claims. And I said, please draft a claim. And believe me, it had given the exact claim of an internal combustion engine. So again, why I'm saying right now? Because tomorrow, unless you use that technology, somebody would disrupt you. Maybe you should be efficient to use that technology. You should not be a servant of the technology, but you should be able to use the technology for your own use. Yes, that's the end of my limited, because most of the topic is something different, which is talent related, which our talent team manages. So in fact, whatever limited interaction that I have with my talent team, I gather some information, put it here. Anything which I have missed out, if you want to ask any question, please feel free to do so.
Questions, please.
Or you may reach out to me after the session is over. Thank you.
Everything you explained, what remains? That's the thing.
Which one?
Thank you so much, sir, for that.
Gautam, if I can ask a question.
Yeah.
When you see, Kane is a very big IP firm doing good business and scattered all over. When you recruit, I mean, there has been incidents of wrong selection?
Yes, at least 20% times, in spite of having all those kind of psychometric, all those kind of 3-4 rounds of interview. Of course, as we grow and we are becoming more mature, our rate of error is going down, but we commit
But what do you do with those mistakes?
We put them on learning path. So there are mechanism in our organization to address the gap, and if it is irreparable, then we ask them to leave. But we give enough ample opportunity. In fact, kind of training, if it is emotional, soft skill issue, we engage coaches to address those issues. If it is technical issue, we can't do much, but some of the issues, there are mechanism to address. 6 months we give generally.
That's a pretty long time, you know.
Yeah.
Because many organizations will not give that long a time.
Yeah.
By the time they're ready to get, look for another 20% hike
Do you have
jobs.
probation
6
period
months is
kind of
enough.
thing where you can evaluate in
Move
3
on.
months, initial 6 months?
We don't have that. Initially, when I joined, we had a different kind of probation period. You have to spend 7 days in the organization, and then you see the organization sees you. But that thing is gone. So, as a law firm, we cannot engage a lawyer, we cannot recruit a lawyer. It is association, because that bar council prevent the lawyer also, an advocate who is enrolled cannot take up a job. So it has to be an association, an engagement. So there is no provision as such.
You still have those written exam and all those.
Yes, even though, and most of the time we find difficulty in soft skill. That's the problem, major problem.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I think that was extremely helpful as well as practical for all of us. Moving on, for our sixth session today, we are honored to have Dr. Suryamani Tripathi speaking on the topic of Indian IP professionals, what changes do international institutes wish? Dr. Suryamani Tripathi is an international lawyer, registered Indian attorney, and registered technology transfer professional accredited by ATTP. At present, he is working at Head Legal Services at ICRI SAT, Hyderabad, India, and is involved in overall management of legal and IPR issues related to operation and research at ICRI SAT, legislative advocacy, and statutory compliances. He has been awarded law degree from IIT Kharagpur with Microsoft IPR Scholarship Award. He also holds a PhD degree in plant science with CSIR India Fellowship and International Masters in Biosafety with Fellowship of UNIDO and the Government of Italy. He is a recipient of Associate Fellowship CISDL Canada and Scroll of Honor by the International Council of Jurists. He also holds Diploma on Fostering Innovation and Commercialization of Intellectual Property Rights from the Copenhagen Business School, Denmark, and Certificate on Law of International Organizations by the United Nations Institute for Training and Research. He was instrumental in the establishment and sustainable operations of Intellectual Property Facilitation Cell and WIPO's Technology Innovation Support Center. Thank you for being with us, Dr. Tripathi. Over to you. Thank you.
And he was also the winner of the morning quiz.
Thank you for a very long introduction. Good afternoon to all. It's my privilege that I am standing before my professor. Professor Ansarkar was my professor. He taught me at IIT Kharagpur Law School. And now these two are my partners or collaborators, you can say. We work with the KNS partner. They are assisting us in IP filings and many others. Ramji is again our collaborator. When we interact with the startups, we interact through them. So it's you can see that for IP lawyers and IP professionals, this is not only one domain, one restriction. Before going to the presentation, first of all, I will say sorry that the award, it was mainly for the students. Because I was allowed, I never thought that I will go through, but I participated, but not intended to catch that. Next time I will not participate. Later I realized that this was not for me.
No, you're not. That's not true. Next time we'll have more awards.
Yeah, that's again correct. Uh, Before going to my presentation, let me see that I'm a very unique creature. Like my organization is very unique creature. I am also a very unique creature. I have never thought that I will go into the legal profession. I was a scientist doing my research, PhD, CSR fellow. Never thought that I will pursue law and become a lawyer one day. Why I have entered this domain, like similar to Professor Anil Sarkar, because he was also a scientist and now he's an IP professional. So when I was doing my PhD, few patented chemicals were given to me for research. And in agriculture science research or plant science research, you do experiments in fields. For these chemicals, I was allowed to do only in pots because the amount of chemical was very small. And it was told to me that these are patented chemicals, and that's why we are not giving you a good amount of chemical to do your research. At that point of time, it triggered in my mind that what is patent? I was not aware about the patent, IP, nothing, like any other researcher. It triggered in my mind, what is a patent? How it is affecting my research? I am a researcher doing my job, that is my function, doing my PhD thesis. Why this patent is affecting my research? Why I am not allowed to do research? Then I started reading on the patent, and then I came to know there is a one course from the IIT Kharagpur, and then I joined. Till that day, when I joined the course, there was no intent to become a lawyer. The only intent was to know about the patent and IP. Because my research was suffering, and I thought that I should learn and see that why this has affected my research. And that was a wrong notion. Patent is not discouraging you to do research. Patent is not discouraging you to use any material in a small quantity. But that was a wrong mindset given to my supervisor and others. Patent is only saying that when you do, either take a permission, take a license, or if you are doing for academic work, do academic work, don't go for a commercialization. And patent also varies from the jurisdiction wise. And those chemicals were patented in US, not in India. So a lot of confusion was there. And in resolving those confusion, I become the lawyer. I remember the date when this IIT Law School, this campus placement was going on. He came from Infosys. He hired so many so many my friends. I said, sir, you are not hiring me. What happened to me? What's wrong with me? And what will happen to me? Because if you will not hire, then, and I was a good performing student there. He said, no, there's something different for you. Don't worry about that. Many times he said that. So for you people like those who are in final year or going to be a lawyer, this is a constraint. You feel that we want everything immediate. What will happen to me? Don't bother about that. Because destiny will decide where you will go. Destiny has decided that I am here, I am working for international organization, I am working for various portfolio of the law, not only IP. So that's why my today's presentation will give you a glimpse that for a IP thing, don't think this is only for a patent, this is only for a trademark, or IP lawyer is only for IP function. IP is involved in each and every parcel of your life or your employment. Whether it's an employment contract, or your collaboration, or your vendor arrangement, it's a research partnership, technology transfer, business acquisition, anything, whatever you can think of, IP is involved. And that's why it is required that all your professors, those who are teaching the law, when you are teaching a contract, give a one flavor of IP in that contract. If you are teaching a taxation law, taxation is also IP. When you go for a technology licensing, taxation will come into the picture. When you are going for a technology transfer, the import and import restrictions, export restrictions will come. In one country, we were trying to transfer our technology to the African locations. We've been informed that there is a UN sanction to those countries. American sanction is there. You cannot transfer those technology to those locations. So see, where IP is not directly coming here, but a tech transfer, IP transfer, the sanction, UN sanction, American sanctions are also coming into the picture. International trade is coming into the picture. So going into that, so the mouse only. So let me give brief background about the organization, because when we think about the international body or international organization, unless until you have a picture about the organization, you will not be able to understand our requirement. Our requirement is very unique, very different from the any corporate entity, any Indian entity, or any law firm or any other. So ICRISAT is an international body. It is not formed under any act of India. It is not formed under any society, trust, company, such kind of thing. It is a part and parcel of the international treaty. And under international treaties was established and then notified under the United Nations Immunities and Privileges Act. And from there it is deriving its power and status, unique status. So many laws, many regulations are not applicable to us. So if that is not applicable, so if you are a lawyer, if you are coming to me, then you have to identify who we are. If you treat us like an Indian entity and give your advice like an Indian entity, then your advice will be wrong. So the first requirement, know your client. Who is your client? What they want? What are their challenges? So each time your advice, each time you are addressing a problem, you have to think from the client perspective, not from your perspective. And that challenge I face whenever I interact with the lawyer. 90% of the lawyer, they say that this is the standard. I am doing a practice for like 25 years in the High Court. I am practicing in Supreme Court. I know all these regulations. You follow this. You do this. We say that we are not going to follow this because whatever the regulations, whatever the terms and conditions, or whatever the plans you are suggesting that are not applicable to us, you suggest which is applicable to us. And they never worked in that domain. They have no idea, no clue. Like KNS is working with various international bodies. They work with the ICGB, they work with the ICRISAT, they work with the IRI, CIMIT, they work. So they know what kind of these entities are. So when you go and interact with any of the client, whether if you're going to interact with a startup also, just identify which type of startup, whether they are Section 8 company or they are a normal entity or they are different kind of setup also. They may be LLP. So your advice should be your client specific. Now, you see our operations. We are not limited only to India, we have a global presence. So because we are headquartered in India, majority of our legal work happens in India. But when we ask legal advice, you should not give legal advice based on only India. You should think the implications in other jurisdictions. So if we are working here, then it is your responsibility to go and do a search. Sir was saying that you have to do a research, good research. What we see, what we want, you have to be very good researcher. You go and see that what are the rules, regulation and implications or standards in Kenya. What will happen if you interact, you send your material or information to the Kenya, what will happen, what regulation will apply? We look for that kind of advice. That is the value addition. If you are not going to value add, international bodies, they don't think about the making payments. Payment is not an issue for them. But what they want quality advice. And if you give a quality advice, we will interact with you for a longer duration. But if you will not, we will not work with you. We're very simple, because we cannot compromise on the quality. Another area that since we are a non-profit body, we have a separate kind of obligations. We work on the United Nations SDGs, poverty, all this elevation, gender equality, so many things. So when you deal our case, whether it's IP or non-IP, you have to think from this lens. Our objective of the organization. Like if suppose there is any case, you are going and defending in whether it's a patent office or a biodiversity board or any tax authorities. If you have a mind, if you have understanding about these things, this will give you an additional point to convince the government, because then you can buy some relaxation, some waiver, some concession for these organizations. So you have to understand the objective of each and every organization. That is another important point. This is another point that ICRISAT is signatory of FAO Plant Treaty. Generally, the treaty is signed by the countries only. Organizations are not allowed to sign. You never heard that company X and Y or NGO X and Y is going and signing a treaty. So only international bodies, international organizations, and the countries, they go and sign the treaty. So ICRISAT is also signatory of this treaty. So when we transfer a biological material, and if you are coming us to advise us, have you ever asked that are you part of the treaty or not? Because if you are a part of this treaty, you will not come into the normal procedure of the biodiversity. You will come under different procedure. So another requirement that when you come, when you discuss with us, you have to do a proper research about the organization. This is another important point. When the faculty member, they are teaching to the students, don't teach only national law. Teach international law also. If you are teaching a Biodiversity Act, teach this act, this law also, this treaty also. Teach about the Biodiversity Convention also. Teach about the other implications also. If you are talking about providing information about this benefit sharing in the India, talk about the Nagoya Protocol, exception and exemption at the various locations, various other jurisdictions. Now, so because of we are a signatory of the treaty, we have a gene bank. We have a global gene bank. So anytime if you are coming and advising, you should ask that how you are managing all those things, because under the biodiversity regulations, you cannot hold this amount of material. You cannot transfer this amount of material. How you are dealing with that? But since we are a part of a signatory, we are free. We are allowed to do that. When we interact with the most of the lawyers, they never thought about all those things. So their thought process is very limited. They think very narrowly. So in the morning also you have heard that many speakers said that you think broadly. Do a lot of research. And whether you are an in-house lawyer, like I am an in-house lawyer, it is expected from me that I should know each and everything. Your employer is expecting that you should know each and everything. You do not say that I don't know. It is not my domain. For a lawyer, you have to read everything, whether it's your domain or not. If you are going to represent a case in a court, whether it's a biological matter, IP, criminal matter, technical matter, whatsoever, you have to read. If you are not able to read, not able to understand the technological concept, go and meet the expert. I have a good science background, but nowadays the new technologies are coming, like gene editing. I am not aware. So I am going to the concerned scientists, discussing with them, reading document, still I am reading document, the technological documents I am reading, and then connecting with the law, connecting with the regulations. So that is the rest. For a lawyer's whole life you have to read. If you are not able to read, better you take another profession, don't go into the law. Law means you have to read, always you have to read. Now, these are the 2-3 slides, very important. What we want. We want whenever you come with the understanding of the international law and national law. When we ask you to prepare a legal report or legal analysis or provide advisory, you bring all. Don't bring only national law. Don't bring only international law. You bring all. See that, and that shows that, because if generally these international bodies, they take a multiple opinions. We don't rely only on one opinion. So if I am taking a 3 opinion and one opinion is coming with a quality of research, with all information, all data, I will go with that, and that will build my confidence. So whenever we have an independent lawyer or law firms, if our network, because we have a global network, if anybody is asking in the globe that can you provide the reference, we provide a reference. So we are your ambassadors also, not only client. We are promoting you if you are serving us well. The second, that a quality legal research. You have to do a good amount of legal research, which is lacking. Nowadays, I see that most of the students, those who are passing out from the law school, they do a Google search, like now ChatGPT is another tool for you, for easy search, but that will kill your talent. ChatGPT is taking information which is already in public domain. They are not creating something new. But human mind has a capacity to create something new. So make your talent that I will give a report, I will do a search or research no other person can do. The third, that case specific solution, not the generic solution. I am very lucky that I have been taught by the various Supreme Court, High Court judges and the lawyers, the standing senior advocates. One High Court judge, he taught me the property law. And he gave me the concept. In the first half, I think Mr. Reddy was saying that you need only concept. Law will change, law will modify, but the concept will not change. The fundamental principle, fundamental concept of anything. He taught me property, and one message he gave to me, that whenever you come any situation of the property or any law, specifically the property, case specific, open the statute, open the Bare Act, read the Bare Act, then go to the case law. Bare Act is the fundamental for you, because that is your skill. Case law has been developed only because of the lawyer's skill in the judgments, not because of the book. So case law is an evolving process. So if you have a better argument, better understanding, then you can do. So read the Bare Act. So similarly, if a case has been given, a matter has been given to you, don't give a ready-made answer. Don't give a what is already generic or available on a Google. That I can do. I am fully aware I can do that. But I am looking for something case specific, very specific solution if you can offer me. And then timely, he's already mentioned, timely delivery. Time is essence in the legal profession. Due date is there, filing date is there, and then submission date is there. Many a times, if you are IP professional, they will say that I want to file provisional now, I want to file complete specification now. You can't say that I don't have a time. You have to take out some time and then deliver the job. So timely delivery is another aspect. It's very, very important and very, very crucial for us. I can give one example. Like if somebody is coming and advising us that a benefit sharing fund is there, and you have to deposit some money to the benefit sharing fund. If you are coming and advising us, if you are advising to international body, why only the Indian law? You should also go for a FAOTT. You should also discuss about the Nagoya Protocol, CBD, all those things. Then your report and advice will be the perfect and complete. There are various exemptions. If you are dealing with a research organization, there are various exemptions given under the Biodiversity Act. Very few lawyers, they used to come and say that these are the exemptions. If you can justify your work in these areas, you don't have to go for a compliance. 90% lawyers, they come and say that you have to do compliance. You have to do a compliance. So that is the difference that we look for. What we look for, you read, you understand your client requirement, and then come for that. And those who are teaching, I would say that don't teach the only law, the section. Section anyway, any student can go and read. You see that, you train them to interpretation of the section, various notifications, various circulars, what is going on, various case laws. And if you can connect with the national law, international law, the local law, then your understanding, the skill will be a different kind of skill. And that is the requirement of the market. Remember that IP profession is going to be a very, very important profession, because traditionally, India was always a receiving end. We used to receive the technology. We were never the producer of the good technology. But because of the Make in India and various other, and the focus of the government of India, now India is going to become a technology provider. And that we see, because I represent the research organization. So I can see, especially in terms of the IT, agriculture and pharma, India is becoming a hub for a technology provider. In next 5 years and 10 years, you will see a lot of requirement for technology transfer professionals. Who are their professionals? Ramji, like business person, is a professional. Person like me, who is having a IP law and other understanding, is like a professional. You can also become a professional. So, if you want to become a professional, don't think only the patent drafting, claim drafting, and prosecution is the only IP job. IP has a very vast potential. You can go and join the WIPO. WIPO is a very big organization. There are a lot of requirement for the IP lawyers. They put a lot of advertisements, young professionals they are calling. Go and join the WIPO, go and join the WTO. Why you are thinking that your horizon is limited only to India or Indian company or Indian firm? Go and join the international law firm. International IP firms are there, they are doing very good job. Last year I was in Denmark, I saw all international law firms, Indians are working. Very good Indian attorneys are working in their law firm. Few of my batchmates and colleagues are also working there. So there are a lot of potential in working in the IP firms, companies. Don't restrict yourself that you have to draft only patent or file only patent. If you are not very good in patent drafting, forget about that. If you are good in policy, IP policy, pursue IP policy. If you are good into the IP analysis, report writing, litigation, analysis, go for that. Why you are limiting yourself only for a patent drafting or claim drafting or a prosecution? This is the only subset, one small subset. Geographical indication is another area. I do a lot of work in geographical indication and that is my passion. I love a lot because that gives me a satisfaction that I am working for a community. So you start working in that domain also. Nobody is going to stop you. So IP profession has a good opportunity subject to the condition that which area you are going to choose. Another area is international collaboration and partnership. Being an international body, we do a lot of collaborations. So when we do a lot of collaboration, contract is coming to definitely contract will come into the picture. IP lawyer cannot say that I don't know the contract. This is a part and parcel of the contract team. No, it is a part and parcel of you only. You have to connect with the contract. This is not a simple contract. This is a collaborative contract. Who will own the IP? Who will commercialize the IP? Nowadays I see when we are interacting with the US universities or European universities, they say inventorship of the author or authorship will be decided by their law, not by the Indian law. They say that inventorship will be decided by their law, US Patent Act. Then you have to see that if dispute will arise for this agreement, technology transfer or collaboration, then Germany court will be the jurisdiction, not the Indian court. There is no international arbitration. So you can't say that I am an IP lawyer, this is a part of the legal team to take care of the arbitration and dispute. No, this is not a normal dispute. This is a tech transfer, technology collaboration, IP development dispute. Then you have to see, because if the dispute resolution will take time, whole process of tech transfer will go. Then you have to identify a jurisdiction which is neutral and which has a speedy disposal of the process. You can now go for an international arbitration, you can go for a Singapore arbitration, many other things. So IP lawyer or IP subject is not a standalone subject. It is interlinked with the various other aspects. The last point, we want something more. We are not looking only for the legal advice. We are looking for some business advice also. So last time when Anindya sir came to my institute, he was interacting with the scientist. So he gave, along with the IP principles, many other things, he gave a lot of advice. If you are working on a publication, you do like that. If you are working on that, do like that. Why? And all scientists, they like very much. They are requesting me to organize another session. Because he was talking in their tone, their language, and offered something beyond. It was not expected from him that he can offer the something beyond the IP, but he's offered something beyond the IP. So if I am an entity, if I am asking your advice, you advise me that if you have an intention for going these jurisdictions, there are business potential, you apply for the patent here also. You will get some advantage. So we look for something value addition. So that's why being a lawyer, have some business acumen, something going on, what is going on. And at the last, technology is moving very fast. Chat GPT, we say that it's going to be a computer for lawyers, because he mentioned that all information is there. Claim drafting also they have started doing. I have seen the very good quality contract they are drafting. What you will do if everything will be done by them? What you will do? So think differently. That's why you have to draft something different, something smarter than that. And your management will ask how to deal with these technological challenges. Human mind nobody can beat. Only thing is that you have to think that what you want, and there is no limit. That is the mindset that has been given to us, that we think only patent and patent drafting and filing or litigation. IP is not like that. IP is something beyond. If money is involved, merger acquisition is involved, trade is involved, export import process is involved, technology transfer is involved, technology development is involved. All these things are governed by the IP. So IP is integral part and parcel of that. Request your professors that if you are teaching me international law, you teach me that IP law along with the international law, not separately. Contract law, tech transfer along with the IP law. Now any question? I interact a lot with the lawyers and both internal and external. So I know what is going on in the market. What is the future? For all IP resources, go to the WIPO. WIPO has all the material, all international law, other thing. And other resources, the respective portal you can go and check. Best thing is that you read. If you are not reading, you will not come. One very good example I can give you. Very good example. In one matter, you were transferring one material, that is the finished material, that is the cookies made up of some millet cookies. We were sending outside India for a sampling, for a evaluation. It was advised to us that you have to take a biodiversity approval. Why? Because this is not a crop, this is not a material, this is not a seed material. Then you have to take approval, because it is not coming under the domain of the exemption given under the treaty. And to my surprise, our scientists started also. I was not aware. Scientists also started the process. They submitted the application also to the NBA. Then NBA asked for additional information. It came to the Director General, forwarded to me. Then I saw that what was the need for going that? Why we went there? Because this is not a biological material. Under the definition of the Biodiversity Act, this is a value-added product. By doing that cookies, you cannot create a new plant. This is a requirement. This is a value-added product. This is an exempted item. Why we have gone through? And then I identify one case law from the National Green Tribunal 2015. In that case law, this Biodiversity Authority asked for all the coal producing entities that since the coal is made up of the biological material, that is a plant, that is they are from the plant sources, they have to pay compensation to the Biodiversity Authority. And the Green Tribunal said that no, by the coal, you cannot create a new plant. This is a value-added product. So that was a wrong advice given to our scientist. And then I acted, I withdrew all, and Biodiversity Authority also accepted our stand. So see, analysis is very, very important. Reading is very, very important. If you are not reading case laws, if you are not reading a statute, if you are not reading books, if you are not attending the programs, such kind of programs, then you are losing. You are going out. My session was in the afternoon. Why I came in the morning? Saturday is holiday for me. I came in the morning because I knew some good speakers, some senior persons are coming. That is, I will learn something. And that is the reason I started from FTO analysis. My first job was FTO analysis, freedom to operate analysis for the patent. And now I am dealing with every matter, whether it's a tax matter, GST, income tax, whatsoever you can imagine, international trade, affairs, HR matter, litigation, everything. And not only here, the global. I am taking care of the global operation. How I am managing? Because I am increasing my knowledge. I am reading on a daily basis. If I am not able to read a French document, I have downloaded a software. I am reading the translated version so that I can get some information, because few of our countries are French-speaking countries. Their laws are into French. So I can't say that I don't know. I have to read. I have to interpret. I have to advise. So reading is very, very important for any law graduate. That is my last message. If you are reading, perfect. If you are not reading, better identify any other job. Legal profession is not for you. Any other question? Job related query, concern, don't bother about job. Based on my learning, because I changed my field from the science to law, I was very much worried. That's why I am saying that. Don't bother about that. If you are good, if you have a capability, you will identify your way out. Ananda sir, any comment? Question?
Wonderful talk. We really enjoyed it. It was very insightful and found a lot of information. I'm sure people would have benefited. See, and all secret stories you are giving out. That, I did not take you for a campus recruitment.
That's so true, no? I am honest.
See, stories must be bigger than that. He was running around at me, and I just told him, you don't enter this room. Okay, you are not sitting for this campus recruitment. तो थोड़ा बेचारा nervous हो गया. And
अरे क्यों नर्वस नहीं होगा कि सबको मिल रहा है जॉब, एंड आई वाज अ मेंबर ऑफ द प्लेसमेंट कमेटी और मुझे ही नहीं मिल रहा है, तो
because I had already
Correct.
known,
So I was not aware.
already knew his current job, which he had not got the letter.
So that's why I was not aware about that.
He had not got the offer letter, but I knew he was already. In fact, I would say, there was. They were actually looking for a person which matches his background at that time. And myself and then a few other professors, we could not think of anybody else. And good that we took that decision. And good that I did not recruit you for something else. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that extremely interesting talk. Well, we come to the final session for today, and the talk is by Dr. Ramji Palela on the topic of experience of startups working with IP professionals. Dr. Ramji is currently the COO at Atal Incubation Center of CCMB, supported by Niti Aayog, Government of India, to take care of the incubation activities. His current position at AIC CCMB is to leverage the incubation facilities to potential startups in the area of biotech, life sciences, healthcare to make them successful. Prior to this, he worked as Chief Manager, Grants Management Division at IKP Knowledge Park, Hyderabad, and worked towards Biotechnology Ignition Grant of Biotechnology Industry Research Association Assistant Council, a Government of India enterprise. Dr. Ramji, we're looking forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Good evening to all of you. So before the slides are on, so I'm very privileged to be here in the campus. Close to 20 years before I'm here for some workshop, 2005 or 2003 or 4, I guess. Again, 5 I got this PG diploma in patents law from Nalsar University under Nalsar program when I was doing my PhD at IICT. So the story why I'm telling is that again, in front of my guru, Professor Anindya, I never imagined that, something like this, a patents law, my friends are doing, they are in companies. I'm a pure science candidate, I'm not an applied science candidate. I'm a geologist by MSc. And Dr. Reddy didn't allow me to walk in because I'm a pure science. When I realized, okay, chalo, let's do some science research and all, then go back to Reddy's, I thought. So with that, I just accepted for a fellowship of 4,000 rupees at IICT. as a project assistant. But my friends who joined in Reddy's and biologically and others, they are doing this course. They told me, "Oh, we are doing this course," so I also joined. While I'm doing my PhD, I never thought that I'll be doing something related to IP. But this particular course of 1 year brought me back to India after my postdoc in South Korea. Looking for jobs, again, everybody I think after BSc, they look for jobs. After MSc, they look for jobs. So even PhD and after postdoc also looking for jobs. And how to come back to India, my Hyderabad in the sense, my wife also works here in a central government agency, CCMB. So unfortunately, nature jobs, they advertised PhD with patents law as an added advantage for ICGEB Delhi. That transformed completely, my career transition to this game. And I started learning, completely paused my science in 2012. And I started working for industry academia partnerships, understood how to negotiate between the companies and academic institutes, and slowly drafting some patents also with the ICGP's IP cell. That's where the scientists out there in ICGP, they actually, in the 2 years of my time at IC, because I want to move to Hyderabad, then started a grants management at IKP, which is nearby, and building incubator, etc. But in the throughout these past 10 years, what I realized is that, adding some extra feathers to your cap will never get wasted. That's the first and last message before I go to the main content. If you kind of learning certain things, in your entire life, sometime it will be helpful. And I'm thankful to Nalsar University and Professor Anindya Sarkar on this. So now going to the, yeah. The topic is given such a way that, what is the approach or maybe how they'll be dealing with the IP agencies, startups. So startup or student innovator or a scientist, anybody, the case would be almost same. But certain factors which may be very specific to the academic scientists, okay, who are deeply working at their bench, but they don't know which step of their research work or which process step of their technology they should go for the IP and what are the preliminary requirements, etc. So why IPR? I think 2-3 speakers covered even in the morning. Science alone won't do anything. Yes, it's a good knowledge you get and the wonderful things that you do with your test tubes or flasks in the lab or maybe the hardware or software. But when you are talking about IP, yes, it is for the commercialization. So this point why I'm telling is that when you're trying to approach any IP facilitators or agencies to file your patent, what is that legwork that a startup need to do? So basically, he need to differentiate between a discovery and an invention, because invention is the key for innovation, then to IP, tech transfer, or whatever, the business. So that's where the startups emerge. Pre-COVID times, it's about 18,000 startups that we had, and now it's crossed 90,000, I heard. So especially in the deep tech, maybe you can say about 15, 20K or 30K startups that we have in India. So that means by this year end or maybe mid of this year, you will be reaching 1 lakh startups in India. So why I'm telling this startups thing is that yes, everybody is enthusiastic to make money, start some business, but especially for the deep tech startups or science-based startups, they need to realize certain things. They need to quick enough for going and approaching and talking to the IP filing agents or maybe IP cell in their own institutions. So they need to be transparent. This is what I have. This is the supporting data for my hypothesis. can I just go for a provisional? So quick IP reports, because when I was working in IKP, I handled a couple of projects. One is Biotechnology Ignition Grant, which is a flagship funding program of India by BIRAC. So what we used to do, we spend money to generate quick IP reports for the startups or individuals who applied for the grants. Again, BMGF, Gates Foundation grant also, GCTPCI is to take care. So that quick IP report, and if you have some funds or maybe for institutional grants, if you have maybe detailed IP reports, at least you'll be understanding, what are relevant patents and related patents, and what is the IP strength that I have, if it is weak, or how can I make it more stronger, which are the steps that I can actually tweak in so that I can make my technology a bit stronger and make it unique. So these things are very important for an innovator or a startup to understand before they approach any IP agent. And also, what's next? Because quick point is that, although government funds or institutional funds are to support IP, maybe 1.5 or 2 lakhs, and BIRAC is, of course, some of the applications, DBT, DST through TIFAC and all, some kind of PCT applications are getting supported, but yes, that's the biggest gap that we have. Provisional to main patent, at least I can tell you 60-70% they are not able to go for it. And again, deep tech, at least I'm telling, because of delays in funding, lack of funding, that 1 year is gone, and again, they may not be able to meet the targeted data or etc. And secondly, PCT. They are not able to realize, initially at the time of starting their, so that's where startups, or when you're starting a company, yes, it's for commercialization and IP, whether you can make it and whether you can actually sell the technology, or otherwise at least, sell the technology, sell the product by yourself, or maybe by licensing it to other companies. So you need to take care of all these things, and of course mindset really matters. And invention disclosure, I'm not covering the basics because I'm not good at it, obviously. So take care of certain NDAs, CDAs, and what kind of caution measures you have to take. So that's where the startups, even when I refer our own startups from AIC CCMB, we tell, okay, whether you sign these documents initially or not, and so all these things, when they are trying to mediate any tech transfer. So please, these are the steps that someone may be working out, so you can mediate by being the IP. So I think these points, the strategies, or maybe the steps and everything, better than me. But still, quick points is that, IP, many people think that, when I'm studying, to be frank, the same campus in the workshop, I don't know I forgot the name, sir, maybe Suman Sahai or some agricultural scientist. She's against IP. Suman Sahai, if I can remember. Wow. So she tells, okay, why to patent? No, you are actually killing the freedom of farmers, etc. And she used to make some kind of revolutionary statements. Certainly, I also kind of inspired, okay, chalo. But being an IP student, patents law student, and also encouraging science, and also at the same time business, I promote, my hand at least 50 startups we funded, or 70, but I kind of interacted at least 300 to 400 startups in the past 4 or 5 years. So first step is that, whether you have seen your priorities, because if you don't actually look for a IP potentiality of your technology or your science in your company, I think you may not be able to be unique or make it as a proprietary. So second thing, again, IP registration, we guide them, and proper due diligence forms like KNS and others will help. And again, yes, so understanding the proper policies and strategies of protecting IP rights, and also agreements. So one example I'll tell you, a bad example, what we faced, $1 million deal just broke within 3 days of signing an agreement. So anyway, so please, I copied some of this information. Those links are not visible, but yeah. Again, I think Gautam or Surya covered, the strength depends on that, okay, which is your priority? Is it a, what you can say, critical IP for the company or critical but public benefit? It can be okay given for creating some impact or what? And again, not so critical. You can just sustain on that. Or maybe completely, chalo license de do kisi ko. So you have to classify depending on, that's where these agencies and that's where you guys are there to tell about a particular technology or know-how, how strong it is, so that you can classify and tell the picture in front of the scientist, boss, this is your situation. Because so and so person, okay, he's working in this line, not exactly like this, but your patent may be a bit weaker. So these kind of things will help. You need to, the startups will be checking, or maybe the IP persons can actually guide. I think this is, wonderfully mentioned by Surya also, that, FTO. So when we are trying to give the grants, maybe I think in my next slide. So we take a lot of measures, not by simply giving grants to startups, because we guide them, okay? Even when you're writing application, because I guide at least 10 applicants for each call of BIG, but otherwise CBRI, BIPP, or maybe Indo-US grants and all, I advise a lot, because my forte is into grant writing. So do's and don'ts of it and all. So where we tell, okay, when you're writing commercialization block is there, what are the timelines? Because time again is very important, and what are the timelines, and what is the sample size, and again IP when you make it, so whether you will be selling it or you will be licensing it, what kind of model that you choose. So these things should be reflecting, which are very much linked to the IP, because the companies make money, especially in these science-based or technology-based companies rely on the IP. So that's where you need to have these reports and FTO. If you don't have FTO report, you can't spend 15K or 20K. Then you please go to the inventor, ask for a letter. It is only for the research purpose. Can you please give an FTO intent letter so that I can do only research for a period of 1 year or 1.5 months? Maybe at the time of commercialization, you can actually make another agreement with the concerned inventor. So show that letter to the grant agencies, the NIH or maybe Indian agencies, their IRAP, and we have BIRAC. So these all actually rely on these things. So tomorrow, all of you may not be IP experts, or maybe may not be forming IP firms alone, but yes, you will be working with technology transfer offices, grant offices. Your skills will be used there. You think very differently today. You study very differently today, right? Yeah, costings and resources, because that is one big hurdle for startups again, when they're trying to approach, some firms may charge suddenly, okay, 1 lakh rupees. You can actually pay in installments starting from the IP prior art reports, then again FTO included, or first file in provisional, and then to final patent, whatever. So depending on the capabilities, and individual innovators may not be affordable, but that is the reason I'm going to tell you in my next slide, the technology transfer offices that we have in India. So before going to that, yeah, so they may be having some grants to go for a provisional filing, but again, they are working in some academic institute. So what would be the scenario? It may be an academic enterprise. So the host organization, like CCMB, we have AIC CCMB. Let CCMB scientist, if he or she formed a company, so how that IP can be transferred or licensed? At what cost? What mechanisms? So this is linked to startup. That's the reason I put this slide for you. What would be the best strategy to commercialize this technology? That's where institutional IP scientists will be helping, and also business development people and people like me in the incubators. So they will try to mediate and negotiate. So far, of course, we did not monetize much at AIC, CCMB and CCMB, but we did at least 7 to 9 tripartite agreements, startup, AIC, CCMB and CCMB. We did that. And maybe, okay, from your profits, 5% you please share, but you use that facility or these animal models or whatever. And because COVID times, we helped them a lot. And out of that, 2.5% to CCMB and 2.5% to AIC CCMB. So this kind of management strategies that we try to adapt. And yeah, so I covered everything. So yes, so institution being an investor or promoter, whether they put some money or not, or whether they invested through infrastructure and other scientific acumen or maybe business acumen, whichever it could be. So we have to actually give back something. That's where the technological license to startups depends. Yes, you will be possessing the technology, that's yours. Again, legal defense can be done if you have this IP, and you will be strong enough to show that, I have the IP, so how can you infringe it? Very importantly, competitive advantage, especially for the startups, when they are trying to pitch for their pre-series or series funding, maybe if they're asking for $1 million or maybe $10 million funding, whatever, unless until your IP is so strong, nowadays, today even, especially in the technology, deep tech startups, very difficult to attract funding. One is that, the IP may not be that stronger. Second, the technology is not understood by the venture capitalists. That's very frankly I can tell. They're taking help from institutions and incubators like us. At least slowly it is happening. Our startups in the past 3 to 4 months, each startup got $1.5 million and $1.2 million. They got it. So especially in the deep tech, complete molecular biology, expressing milk proteins from the yeast and all. So that may be something weird. Sorry, I'm just talking more into life sciences and biotechnology, but take it as some technology. It can be machinery or hardware. Anyway, so common errors. I think, this step again, startups does. So when we're trying to approach, because today I just spoke to my friend who did PhD from CCMB, but she had a firm at Bangalore. IP thing, completely transitioned to IP side. She helped our startups to file at least 16 or 17 patents, including trademarks and other things. So I just spoke to her, what are the challenges that you face? Something very interesting she mentioned. So, not these points, by the way, the first slide points I mentioned to you already about, funding issues that they have, and also they are not able to differentiate and how much data to come in, and they may be delaying, and once they start discussing everything, they may not be taking the decision, because decision making is also one big problem with the scientists working in the deep tech area, whether it's in institutions also, at the same time startups also. So anyway, common errors is that, in case if you have a 10-member team that, ground level 2-3 scientists or students or whoever is working, the top level person may not be knowing. In the bigger companies, again, they'll be talking to the leads, technology leads or heads or directors. But yes, the realistic person who is working, that is the one gap in the companies and startups. Again, confidentiality, big bomb, it can actually blast anytime. It happens. See, being known to this IP and what you can say, confidentiality and non-disclosure thing, I also give so many ideas, because today I didn't start any startup, but I work for startups. But for the person who want to actually bring a strong IP, before he opens his or she opens her mouth, I think, okay, let's sign on NDA. That's what the best practice that we can adopt from international players or maybe MNCs that we have. So startups should be going for these NDAs. Even our startups question, Ramji, I think you put a committee. They are evaluating our technologies, reviewing our product development, etc. But we didn't sign anything with them. Good question. I appreciated them. I just told, just open your agreement. Read certain 15.1 section or whatever. It's clearly mentioned that they do NDAs with us. So it is incubator and incubator associated startups and innovators, scientists, etc., etc. So you are covered there very well. So you no need to do separate. But yes, so the confidentiality is one thing. Again, yeah, trademark thing, I think morning also someone mentioned. So people don't realize, especially science background people, they don't realize everything, they know only patent. Okay. So the trademark thing is also one important factor to consider. So I think these are the errors that startup does. Sorry, it's so cluttered, this slide. Just look for the IP India website. You all may be reading regularly. So startups, as Professor Unnat mentioned in the morning, from 16 to 2022, what happened, the number of patents and the facilitation through the government of India, and again the facilitators getting the money. Earlier it is 10,000, now 25,000, whatever. But still again some gaps, it may be very less for the facilitators. Because they also need to do business, right? Again each hour, if some well-funded guy comes and asks me, Ramji, can you please spare an hour? So 2,000 to 3,000 I may charge, but for them it is for you. I mean, them means you in future. Maybe 5,000 to 10,000 rupees, or maybe if you are dealing with the bigger companies, even more. So why I'm telling this point is that, government also need to increase more fees so that, more transparency will come and more startups will be benefited, because they again facilitate, there could be some kind of inhibition that, okay, they may be getting less money and I may not be going to him. They may be giving some report whether it is really authenticated or not, or having that real, what you can say, information on that particular document. It may we don't know, because it's all about the mindset. So anyway, so this scheme is there for startup SIPP, and there are, who can apply is all DIPP recognized startups. I don't want to read all that. So this is what I'm telling, the rates have been increased for the benefit of startups, and the number of startups they kind of got benefited is so high. I mean, he mentioned, I think in the morning, about 500% of increase of filing, etc. So this is what I'm telling about an organization, because I'm trying to tell you in a reverse way. My topic is given that, how startups, what kind of advisory or direction for startups when they're talking to the IP agencies, okay? But I'm just talking in a reverse way, in the sense that what kind of facilities that they have, but how startups also need to look into. So in that sense, government, IP India or Invest India, they have the schemes. Again, BIRAC is having a facilitation cell. So any technology with a small bio or, IoT in bio, whatever, small bio component, I think you can apply for grants starting from the idea stage to commercialization. Thousands of crores, 1,000+ crores have been invested in 1,000+ companies till now. So quickly to say, these are all, patent assistance funding scheme that they have, patent searches, patent drafting and filing and prosecution, patent analytics, again, patent policy development, IP policy development and process setup, and patent portfolio management, technology management, again, tech transfer and other mechanisms. This particular scheme will be helping. So that is what the BIRAC's PATH scheme, and also SIPP I mentioned to you already. So this kind of mechanism that they'll be having, every time they call it for the startups, they can actually use any BIRAC supported startups, they can actually approach BIRAC cell, so that they will be getting support even for the PCT applications. If non-BIRAC people are there, there are about 7 technology transfer offices set up with the help of WHO, World Bank, sorry. So these technology transfer offices will be helping even school student innovators. I mean, I didn't put a slide here. We coach school student teams starting from 6th standard to 12th standard to compete nationally and globally under Student Innovation Program of NITI Aayog, Atal Innovation Mission, ATLs you may be knowing, Atal Tinkering Labs. Even they are patenting. They are making teams and starting startups. So they can actually get benefited out of these TTOs, Regional Technology Transfer Offices. I may be stressing much on the TTOs, but it's all your job. Tomorrow you'll be part of it. Because currently a couple of jobs are opened in Venture Center, one of the TTO. When I just, in the morning when I opened LinkedIn, I saw that. So please be active in LinkedIn anyway. So this is where you will be getting support. The startups will be getting supported, and these kind of mentoring, skill development, capacity building, whatnot, all kinds of facilitation through this BIRAC's National Biopharma Mission program is helping. So you can be mediating, you can be helping scientists and students to do better. And several technologies have been published in the website so that companies can look at it. Depending on the interest, they can actually take these technologies. Some workshops they do regularly, and you can be also part of it. Coming to the local government, state government. State government incentives for the incubators may not be that much, I can be open, but for startups, yes. Our startup, two startups, one startup got 3 lakhs support, and another startup got about 1.5, 2 lakhs. So please see, understand, see, being an IP graduate or patents, you are doing the undergraduation or post-graduation, each semester break you can use at the best. My last slide is for you, how best you can do that. So meanwhile also you can go and talk to Startup India or maybe Telangana government's IP, whoever is taking care. I can connect to Reach Telangana or Telangana State Innovation Cell. We closely work with all of them. You can talk to them, interact with them, so that you'll understand what kind of policies that they have. States startup policy. Again, TWorks created another IP facilitation cell. So this is, I mean, I don't want to tell about this journey thing, all the steps, you know very, very better way than me. And again, TWorks, I just grabbed this particular thing. So IP protection, legal assistance, and any other things they'll be supporting. So please try to gain more knowledge on how, if you're interested for helping startups, you need to go through all these websites and agencies, social media, they are posting a lot of information. Why can't you be there in LinkedIn so active, or even Facebook and all? So please try to adapt these things. I'll tell a couple of examples and I'll close my talk. This is our building, Atal Incubation Center. Professor Anindya visited us. In fact, I met him after 2004, means in 2021 or 22 only I met him. So after so many years at this building, he came and visited. We have a lot of facilities and, wet lab, all the scientists and scientists turned entrepreneurs will be working out there. And currently we have 21 physical incubators are there, and they will be getting supported with several funding schemes for their IP or tech transfer, or maybe partnerships, joint collaborations, etc. So this is our quick journey of AIC CCMB. We get money to invest in the startups from government and non-government agencies. So $1 million fund from Niti Aayog in 2017 that we got, but about $3 million fund that we raised by partnering with all other agencies, so that we kind of promote incubation activities. Until now, more than 90 startups and innovators have been inducted. Out of that 13 startups, they got the market traction, and they productized also. So this is the way. Even deep technology, if you can see, on the bottom left, if you can see, 29 patents have been filed. Even more, this 29 figure is by September, I guess. Maybe I think in the past 3-4 months, maybe another 2 to 3 or 4 patents might have filed. So why I'm telling all this is that this really help them to understand where they are and which TRL level, despite of the TRL technology readiness level. I mean, I'm not embarrassing you, I guess, with all these jargons, but once you're trying to work with technology startups, I think it may be useful. So an idea, then hypothesis, conceptualization, then proof of concept, small validation, large validation, piloting, scale up, pre-commercialization, commercialization. If you can say that. So 1 to 9. So these are the companies, and even this is also old slide of last year, June, I guess. I didn't put more companies here. So they will be working depending on that. One case study of CCMB in the COVID times, one startup came, sir, why can't we use this BLI technology, bilayer interferometry, for COVID detection? Okay, good. Machine is there with CCMB and startup's idea. So more than 2,000, 3,000 samples, just one drop of blood, you put it there in that machine. Can I do this? Anyway, so at a time, within 20, 30 seconds or less than a minute, 8 samples can be tested. So if this kind of machine is there, either antibody, COVID antibody or COVID antigen also can be detected. So very high throughput. The machine is 1 crore. So those days, everybody is so panicked, but otherwise, the government can actually put it in the railway stations, bus stations and airports, whatever. You can make it for about 16 channel, it is 8 channel, right? So 16 channels or maybe 32 channels or 96. We don't know, right? The maybe 2 crores, 3 crores machine, but the probes can detect easily so that everybody can be screened quickly within a minute of time. So the scientist of CCMB, former director, Dr. Rakesh Mishra, and our CEO, Dr. Madhu, and along with this company, they made a patent. This is one quick study, one case study, that how scientists and startups can actually make a patent. So similarly, I think currently malaria studies also happening. So CCMB also helped them to patent, because CCMB itself is having an IP scientist who can actually talk to these. They will be sitting in our panels, IP scientists sitting in a panel of selection of startups. So they'll guide them. This could be one thing, it's already someone is working. So those small points will be really helpful for startups. And other rice variety and all. I mean, I'm not going to give more examples, but CCMB, there is a resistant rice variety has been developed, and it has been transferred to Metahelix those days, I think, and also IRR, etc. And the COVID-19 detection kits and all transferred to Apollo, Merrill, and other companies. Many other leads are under development, and startups are really seeking our help from AIC, CCMB, and also from the government agencies and private agencies like KNS to make their technologies more stronger, and then trying to actually make some money in the international markets. So one bad case study I want to tell you, right? So I didn't put it in the slides, but I recollected. The startup raised $18 million, and technology know-how is with CCMB. They got very much tempted. Professor Anindya know the case. We briefly discussed. And the agreement was made by startup's legal team. And we shown it to a couple of lawyers, but we did not understand. I mean, we did not actually took much serious, because being an government organization, whatever, blah, blah. But we tweaked certain sentences and we made an agreement. We signed on a Saturday. Next Saturday, before to next Saturday, they have to put 1 crore, 7 crores, $1 million deal actually. $500,000 to CCMB and $500,000 to AIC CCMB, because AIC CCMB CEO is coordinating that mRNA vaccine project of CSIR and CCMB's project actually, that is. So the know-how is they advanced already a little bit. So the startup got tempted. But what happened in between, the startup, the very next day of the signing, he started asking more space, more ID cards, and he want to send 8 to 10 people to the CCMB labs and all. Some kind of understanding is not okay. So third day we sent a mail that sorry, I think you can send the people with 2 after the 2 and limited usage of the machines. Fourth day, we got a legal notice. And we just discussed and gone about 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Unlimited ID cards you want. So I think it's all about the attitude and confidentiality, and also how best you are writing your agreements, how best you are tweaking your agreements. So we also can hire a legal person, and we want to kind of defend. We also hired actually, but finally, in the past 8 months or 9 months, we decided it's okay, drop down from the idea. Meanwhile, some technology know-how kinds already passed, and they are just going forward because huge money, huge team, but still they are with us. They are incubated with us only. Is one example why I'm telling is that he's smart, and everybody should be smart in the sense how best you are framing your legal agreements. That's where IP specifications, patent specifications, or whatever that you are drafting, things. So much of importance you need to give also to your CDAs, NDAs, and also other legal agreement. Just a memorandum of understanding. That's what we do, right, in between two parties. I think very important. One example. Yes, last slide is for students here. I think, each semester break, please try to utilize, in fact, we are exchanging some mails with Nalsar University, how we can fit in some of the students for our internship with our startups. The only problem is that, they may be working in the CAR T-cell therapies, or maybe drug discovery, or maybe some medical devices, or maybe poultry vaccines. So these diverse technologies that we have, like we may be coming from the science background to the management or IP management or any other management, operations, etc. But similarly, if you are really serious enough to work in the deep tech areas or IP and tech transfer mode, really interesting, right? It may be challenging too, maybe boring too, but still you can actually come. I can arrange internships. You may not be knowing ABCD, at least some 10th class, some knowledge is there in science, right? Maybe as Surya mentioned, you have to read. Nothing is, what you can say, rocket science. You can read. So you can spend about a month or 2 months or 3 months time. Actually, we take interns for minimum 3 months of time. So if you have such kind of breaks between your semesters, or maybe after completing your undergraduation or graduation, I can assume you will learn a lot, because the ground level realities, you go for surveys, market surveys, IP surveys, competitors landscape. We buy, we don't buy this Thomson Reuters or this kind of software. CCMP is having, not AIC CCMP, but we buy traction kind of softwares. Traction is one software where you will be knowing who are the competitors in this particular. You just type, okay, skin allergy and medicines, or maybe some hair growing technologies, whatever. You will be knowing the companies, which companies, how much they got funded, who are the competitors, etc., etc. So not only that software-based expertise, but you may be going to other companies which are competitors to them, but you may be getting some extra information. You do some fantastic exercises and give that information, sir, this is what my report for you. These are the areas probably you can think and strengthen your technology. Fantastic. Because all are scientists. We are having biggest problem. We are telling them to take management people, business development people, or marketing people, IP legality people. And if you can guide them, or maybe at least work with them for about 2 to 3 months, seriously, I think that will be a fantastic thesis for you in future. And that's a different exposure as well. Anyway, so you can be joining as a startup founder too, maybe in your families, friends, or maybe we have 4 fellows. One fellow got a BIG grant, 50 lakhs grant. So the other fellows are working in maternal and child health. And now, after 1 year, they are now making a prototype. That means a kind of box or dabba, whatever you say. Don't worry about the jargons. So that medical device, alpha version, the first version of them, they are making now. But then at the same time, they'll be making a team to set up their company. That means co-founders. You can be the co-founder of the company, because you will be exposed to what are the startup mechanisms, how they're just going through this journey. and you will be getting more experience, and you can be easily get absorbed to even bigger companies in future. You may not be there with the startup for longer time. I don't know. You may be exiting quickly after 2 to 3 years, maybe 5 years. So please, you are so young. Everybody is young. I mean, everybody, including us and Professor Anindya, everybody. So you're so young. Because my boss, for example, 65 years.
You ever had doubt?
Sorry?
You ever had doubt?
आपके लिए तो नहीं, because मैं I have 20 years before I have seen him with a white shirt, fresh, coming to the classes at that city office. So I think that energy and charm is always very important. So what I'm telling is this: my boss, now 66 years, just 1.5 years before he started a company. So the average age is 40 for a startup to set up. So I think you can actually exit so early even. So that's what my point. But yes, BCIL is there, Biotechnology Consortium India Limited. TIFAC is there for DST and set up by DST. BIRAC I mentioned to you, Niti Aayog office, even Invest India, Agni, Startup India, DPIIT. So whatnot, these agencies try to do interns. You may be looking for interns with I don't even know KNS kind of companies, or maybe Lakshmi Kumaran or Sridharan, whatever. Lakshmi and Lakshmi, very, very interesting names. I have never seen our company names, axolotl.io. Anybody understand this? I just randomly told this name to one of the fellows. One of the startups name is Tardigrade. You know Tardigrade? So that is the toughest bug on the planet. Toughest. The coolest places it survives. The warmest places, hot places, it survives. So that is if you can see tardigrade in Google later, the bug is so, Discovery Channel and all they come. So I just told, that's so fascinating. Sir, please tell me something. I said axolotl. I'm a zoologist, okay? Sir, what is that in Google? So it regenerates actually. Axolotl is one of the animal that survives by itself, just like lizard style, it will come again, right? So axolotl's complete body, except the head part or whatever, but mostly 90% the body regenerates like anything. So she just, next day she gave the name also. Who is going to understand? No, sir, it's okay. And now that girl is in J&J. They have technology. After fellowship, the beta is ready, not tested, but J&J told, okay, we can give space to you. We can commercialize your technology. So Johns Hopkins, she's doing one year master's course anyway. So please try to be with these kind of companies and these kind of agencies, and NRDC also transferring a lot of technologies. Try to do interns, not only with those gigantic companies alone. Don't look for, okay, मैं वहाँ पे कर दिए तो मेरे को जल्दी से job मिल जाएगा. That is okay. But at the same time, your passion, someone else will be tapping on your shoulder, says that, okay, boss, I think on these lines. So please always listen to that particular supernatural power when he's tapping your shoulder. And yes, expertise, pure IP only, or pure management only, or pure science only may not be, helping our planets. So you need to actually have multi-domain experts everywhere. So think that way. While you're doing this, why can't I enroll to some kind of genomics course of 3 months? Why can't you? I don't know algorithms. I don't know AIML. I'm a zoologist, but I just try to enroll myself, understand basic coding things, whatever, from triple IT, yeah. And I don't know anything. Management, no, zero. But try to do some correspondence course just to have some basic management. So this is a great opportunity for you. At least till 35, 40 years, you can add some other feathers so that you can be having this multi-diverse understanding. That's what will be adding to your extra feather to your cap. All the best. Thank you so much. Any questions? I'm happy to take. Not technical, please. There are many people to answer on those lines about IP and all, but yes, startups, yes, I'm happy to answer.
I have a question.
Please, sir.
Before the question, since you gave that, you said it's a bad example.
Yeah.
No, it was a bad.
No, not
experience.
bad in the sense कि
It was a good
हमको
example.
पैसा नहीं आए sir, that in that perspective.
No.
But yes, it's a very good experience.
Let me finish. It's a good example. It was a bad experience.
Yes.
Now, when one see, and it should not be referred as, I had an opportunity to go through that contract later. It should not be looked upon as that they are asking us to give 100 IDs, they are asking us space, they are asking us access. They are not asking anything wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
You signed an agreement
Yes.
and agreed to give all that.
Yes.
And once you have
Agreement.
signed that agreement and agreed to give, and then you can't say that I can't give. That is a breach.
Yes, yes. That's what they told, but you know.
So you must have done, that agreement would have been signed without
Right.
much thought.
Yes, yes.
And because when the money, the
Perfectly.
cash flow was high,
So due diligence was missing.
due diligence was lacking.
Yes. So I told you due diligence, but we kind of missed that point. And
Now I have a question for you.
please, sir.
See, this startup ecosystem is in a very funny environment, what I have noticed. Now we are trying to say that they should give importance to IP, consult people, but in reality, there is a constant rush of priorities and on funds.
Yes.
And most of the startups look at IP as a cost, not as an investment.
Yes.
And it is the last place they want to spend money.
Absolutely.
So why is it like that? And they will come. They will come to people, many people, they'll go to KNS, they'll come to consultants like me, and they'll say that, tomorrow I'm meeting the VC, or there's a B-level funding going on, and in my executive summary, I need to write what is my IP. Now this is very common. Why is that? Is it just lack of awareness or lack of fund?
Lack
Or
of
both.
lack of awareness and lack of fund also, but now government understand this gap. That's the reason they came up with this TTOs mechanism. But lack of awareness is very much, because see, even for the grants, I can tell you, out of 50 lakhs of grant, for example, only 1.5 lakh is the limit for the IP. Can you just imagine? And outsourcing is up to 30%, equipment up to 30%, manpower up to 30%. So IP should be at least 5 lakh rupees or maybe 3 lakhs. But only problem is that why they limited is 1.5 lakh. The period of the grant is for 18 months. Most of the grants for 18 months only. So after your provisional filing, within 9 months of the after 9 months of the provisional filing date, you can approach BIRAC that I have done. Then BIRAC will take care of the full patenting. This is also not known to many startups. So lack of awareness that IP is only the key for your business.
Why is there is lack of awareness? All the startups are situated in incubation centers, which have people like you and a staff segment ready to at least inform them. In spite of that, why there is a lack of?
I'll tell you, sir, seed fund, I'll tell you this way. So once they manage to go for a provisional filing by their bootstrapping money or whatever the, what you can say, small grants and all, seed money they will ask for final patenting or maybe PCT filing, etc. We will be providing 25 lakhs to 50 lakhs of seed money. They can actually use that money. So very less people are getting that money. Out of 100 startups, if they apply for seed fund, if they call for the presentations, only 10 people will be getting the seed fund. And all 10 people will not be using the money for patents itself. They'll be using it for some other purpose. Despite that, we guide them on the patenting. So, very nice question that you asked, Professor. In the sense that incubators also should be having a proper IP layering models. But we are not having that capacity today. That's where we are also depending on these TTOs. Yeah.
So there are two reasons for that. Number one, the priorities are different. Unless until you highlight them, this is a very innovative thing, somebody will put a question to you, you protect, they are not ready for a IP filing. what they think the business first. They want to earn money as soon as possible. Second, then the cost. Now there is a scheme from the Ministry of MSME for the cost reimbursement, even for a PCT also,
Yes.
up to I think up to 5 lakhs for PCT, for Indian for 1 lakh, but still they have to put money. So for them, the IP and a legal thing, unless until somebody has burned their hands and they are aware, this is the last option. For them, the most important is the business. They come for a technology validation, they come for marketing, they come for funding. They don't want this, all these things. So it is responsibility of the incubator and the setup, the system, that they should provide a hand holding as a part of the package, like we are offering. If you come and work with us, these things are a complementary. We offer a free IP advisory, free IP support. So then they will say to us. So you build your package in a manner that if you work with us, these are the package and these things are a complementary, free. Then only they will come.
It's slowly
Otherwise-
changing, sir.
Otherwise, first of all, most of them they don't have an innovative thing. Even if you wish to file a patent and other thing, you can't. They are incremental only.
See,
and the
even
new
we are.
business model only. Nothing very innovative
Yes,
technology.
yes. Even we are taking our incubatees, for example, we may be selecting 30-40% rejection we have, but still we may not be looking into the exact IP oriented. The way I'm telling about quick IP reports or detailed IP reports, we don't have those mechanisms to do this. We don't have that infrastructure to cater that particular offering. That this is what I think it may not be possible. You cannot make much IP into this game and all. So 50% startups are coming here. They may not be aware also how strong they are in their technological roadmap. That's where the failure rate is also more.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In this recent budget,
Hmm.
there is a proposal from the ICMR that students from the medical colleges will collaborate with labs of ICMR. I hope CCMB also is
Yes. No, this is not ICMR. NIN is. No, it is CSIR. Yeah.
So I thought CCMB was associated.
No.
Do you have any plans with regard to that? Funding the medical bodies or
See.
medical students?
Yeah. So. Right. So ICMR institutions we can connect also, but CCMB we train lot of medical students, by the way, in their skill development of molecular biotechnology, nanotechnology, medical devices based. So we also have mechanisms. You please write to me if what kind of help that you are looking for. Even doctors can be entrepreneurs. Even doctors can be getting the basic fellowship if they are under 35 years of age. So we support all ways of. Yeah, no problem. Please write to me, sir. Yeah. We already have collaborations with LV Prasad, NIMS, and Mallareddy Medical private and government colleges. So definitely we can do together. Thank you. Maybe we can interact later, but yes, thank you so much for your patience.
So are you incubating any legal startup also?
Legal startup, I mean, I'm happy to incubate because they can help our own startups.
Yeah, think from that perspective also.
Yeah, I mean, I want to give legal one window, regulatory one window like that. So thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you so much, sir. That was very insightful. I'd now like to call upon Professor Anindya Sarkar to hand over the mementos as well as deliver the token of thanks.
I won't take much time. It's uh, it was a wonderful day for me, at least, and I guess it was wonderful for at least some of you too. I would first of all I need to thank DBIIT and NC Banerjee Center of IPR Studies, who is hosting this day's program, and our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Registrar, my colleagues of Nalsar, who had been a great support in transforming what has happened today. This program is not possible unless we had such a good resource who were sharing their thoughts and made the day for us. So I thank Professor Pandit for his insights. I thank Shubhadeep. I thank Professor Reddy, Professor Pai, Dr. Gautam, Dr. Suryamani, Dr. Ramji for sharing their experiences, which I think would be helpful and not only for a day or two in the long run in our practice of law. I'm also thankful to the SBC and the student volunteers team, my other students, and the team which worked on to make this day a success. And Sridula did a good job in announcing. Thank you. Yash is taking good photographs. Thank you. Uh, with that note, I think we will end today's session. Many of you might need to travel quite a big distance to go back to the city. So I would recommend that please have tea and coffee before you leave. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. One more thing I can say is that we have copies of some for our latest journal. If somebody wants to take them, take a copy, you can take one of them. They'll pack it for you.